Guys, howdy. Bitcoin with Dinny. I'm Dinny here. Coming to you live on a nice sunny day. I've got my Bitcoin Initiative t-shirt on and just walking up to the gym. So I just want to share my thoughts on why there's the potential for there to be no bear market. So for everyone who's waiting, that's the potential to be really, really painful. So we'll chat a little bit about that and just share my thoughts on it. So we were Ireland's first Bitcoin consulting company. Hello. We're into 5 years now of helping people to consider Bitcoin, understand Bitcoin, and to use it to retire themselves early. I have to give a disclaimer that nothing you hear is financial advice, it's just education. I'm just sharing my thoughts. If you would like help, check out bitcoinwithdinny.com to see what we do and how we do it. We can definitely outperform whatever you're doing on your own. So go and check out the website if you are interested. So we have Bitcoin ETFs launch in January, and once the news of their approval came out, I said this is a line in the sand. There will be people who were into Bitcoin before the ETFs and then people who are into Bitcoin after the ETFs. And when we look at history, it'll be quite apparent that there was a really profound change in Bitcoin, in how it's understood and in how it's handled, both by mainstream and by general population and by institutions. And lo and behold, we're seeing that. In yesterday's video I was chatting a little bit about how when I first started talking about it, it was almost taboo to be speaking about it, and right up till now there's the race for the biggest job in the world is being decided on who can embrace Bitcoin the most, in that Trump is coming out and saying all these positive things about Bitcoin because he thinks it's going to win him the election, or they've realised how important Bitcoin is to a lot of people. And I've had conversations with Irish politicians and Irish councillors, and I've mentioned this to them years ago, and none of them get it, but you can be guaranteed they're all going to twig on soon and they'll be embracing it, whether they care about it or not. They'll be looking to use it as a way to leverage votes. So the landscape has changed dramatically. You see, the thing is with investing, us as humans, because we live in the now, we don't really notice change. Like, anyone ever see the hand of a clock move? Not really. And how many circles does it make a day? Loads. So we don't really notice things changing because they don't happen really fast. Okay? So you have to pay attention to actually notice that things are really, really changing, and the landscape has changed so dramatically. So the ETFs, the Bitcoin ETF, as I speculated back in January, and even before that we were talking about it in August of 2023, when it looked like it was going to launch and we were like, get positioned, and that was an amazing move. People got to ride all that appreciation in the asset. But it's not done yet, because the Bitcoin ETF is now the most successful ETF ever launched in the history of ETFs. Okay? And there's thousands of them. And the Bitcoin one has been the most successful. But it doesn't stop there, guys, okay? The second most successful ETF, okay, the Bitcoin one, has been 10 times greater. 10 times. So when I look at what the gold ETF done for the gold market, remember, gold is an old asset, it's an analog. It's like investing in the past. And Bitcoin is investing in the future. And generally, as investors, you're trying to position your capital of what the future is going to look like, not what the past looks like. But the gold ETF, when it launched, it caused gold to go on this massive bull run, okay? And it was pretty much a decade long. Obviously with volatility in it, but it was 10 years. Okay? So, just using a bit of logic, it might be pretty straightforward that the Bitcoin ETF may outperform the gold ETF, because the Bitcoin ETF is outperforming the second best ETF by 10 times. So if it caused gold to go on a 10-year bull run, well, what the hell does it do for Bitcoin, guys and gals? So one of the things that I'm thinking is there's about 50 trillion that should find its way into these ETFs, according to all the research. 50 trillion. Okay? Yesterday I spoke about people trying to get rich quick and not really realising that if you can find an asset that's appreciating at 20% a year, you'll retire yourself in a decade. 25% you'll be super rich in a decade. 30% you'll be filthy rich in a decade. 40% you'll be disgustingly rich in a decade. And lo and behold, Bitcoin has already been, without ETFs, without mainstream, without institutions, without presidents, for the last 4 years, we've been doing 50%. Now we've all this positive action. Okay? What are we going to do? We've 50 trillion sitting on the sidelines. As that drips into Bitcoin, with volatility means some days Bitcoin goes down. Those of us who understand that these are our opportunities, we seize these opportunities, we act aggressively, we move fast. We don't dilly-dally, we don't wait till after the fact when we coulda, woulda, shoulda. Okay, that's why we prioritise education and we prioritise being in a community. So we're not trying to make decisions on our own. We have the strength of a group, okay, to pool everyone's information, everyone's education together to make our moves. So as this 50 trillion starts to find its way into Bitcoin, we mightn't get our traditional cycle, we mightn't get our traditional bear market, we might just get short-term corrections. Okay, and short-term is it's relative, like, because people message me and go, oh, Bitcoin's going down. And it's like I just say, no, it's actually going up. Like, look at it from when it started to today. It's been going up for 15 years, 14 years. It's in a massive bull market. And all you have to do is accumulate it. Consistently. If you consistently accumulate it, and you've done that for 10 years, well, you've more money than you can ever spend in your whole life, even if you have very expensive taste. Okay? So it depends how you frame it. In the daily it can go down, but in the weekly, in the monthly, in the yearly, that's when you have to pay attention to. As I try and say to people, try and make a decade plan. Not a year plan, not a 6-month plan, not a 4-year plan. Give yourself a decade plan, because I've never met anyone who didn't, create that and great in less than a decade. And unfortunately, that's the thing, it takes work. And, us as humans, we want the easy way, and that's fair. If there was an easy way to get fit, and it didn't mean I had to walk up to the gym and go and do all my exercises for the next hour. If there was an easier way, if I could pop a pill, I'd do it. But there's not. It just takes work. It's called proof of work. That's why if you're in good shape, it's proof of work, and that's how Bitcoin works. It's tethered to reality. It's unlike every other crypto token that just is virtual and has no tether. It has no connection to the real world. I'll maybe do another video and explain that. I have extensively covered that topic before, but perhaps to revisit it, because a lot of people get caught in the altcoin world and they just lose their money. And this happens consistently for the 5 years that Bitcoin With Dinny has been putting out content. We've seen people, and eventually they become our clients, and they wish they became our clients. Years ago, we only had a guy on Retirely called there last Thursday, and not to twist the knife, but he was meant to come to one of our workshops in, I think, 2020 or something like that, when Bitcoin was, in the teens somewhere, and he didn't. And then I think he showed up a couple of months ago. So, he's wishing that he found it sooner. But as I say, it doesn't matter when you find it. It's this is only the beginning. And I would say, if I had the option, I'd rather be younger and find Bitcoin than be older and own loads of Bitcoin. Because all the upside is ahead of you, and time is the most important thing. So guys, that's just my 2 stats. Maybe there won't be it. Let me know your thoughts below. Interested to hear what you guys think in this current market, where we're going. But you guys know my position. I'm always long Bitcoin. I'm always positive Bitcoin, and that has been the best decision of my life, has been to ignore the traders, okay, ignore the altcoin opportunities, ignore the new thing, and just consistently accumulate sats. And I'm pretty confident that anyone who does that is going to enjoy the freedom that I'm fortunate enough to enjoy. It's going to take you some time, but if you don't do it, you'll never get it. If you don't start, you'll never get it. So that's why I encourage everyone to start. and no one will be pissed off if it happens sooner than you think, because it may. And as I said, we've just opened the lid on this huge demand side that wasn't there before, being these ETFs. And what sort of damage are they going to do to the Bitcoin supply over the next couple of years? I think they're going to do insane damage, because pretty much ETFs so far have just been retail. The institutions have to do due diligence, which takes months, maybe years. But watch it, they're coming. There's a massive debt problem. That's why pensions are screwed. Most people don't know this. That's why, unfortunately, they've been gaslighted into thinking pensions are risk-free and everyone should have a pension. I figured that out decades ago. Pensions are high risk, and there's a much more efficient thing you can do with your capital, even if it means paying tax on it at present instead of paying the tax in the future. Guys, have a super day. I'm going to go in here and pump some iron. Dinny out.